I'm not one of those guys who like swears by Rotten Tomato reviews, but did you know at the recording of this episode, this is the 2021 film that has the best rating on Rotten Tomatoes?
Well, that's because the bar is out extremely low. That's why.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised though, because that 95 film is such beloved by fans, but it's this one with a 55%. The original from 95 with like a 43, and then Annihilation, which is considered to be one of the worst martial art films ever made, a whopping 4%. And I bring that up because if Mortal Kombat 2 does really well, which I think it will, I think it looks really good. I think there's if it gets a good rating on Rotten Tomatoes, they're going to be like in advertisements, the highest rated Rotten Tomatoes Mortal Kombat film. Dude, the bar is so incredibly low for this.
Yeah, and I read it it was supposed to continue. Like the franchise was supposed to continue eventually, but obviously it's all about money when it comes to movies, especially franchises.
Oh yeah.
The bar was set so low, like they lost the rights to the movie rights, so Warner Brothers eventually got it. This movie has been in the making since like early 2000s. Like it took them this long to find a script and director and producers that they were happy with. It wasn't until I got it written down here. It wasn't until they got producer James Wan, who directed like The Conjuring and Aquaman. And you could definitely, then once you hear that, you could tell his picks in this movie, like big sets, practical sets, I should say. And then by the time they finished and ready to film it out, it's just bad timing, because 2021 COVID happened. Like we were just barely getting it back in the movie theaters. And I remember when I didn't see this in theaters, I didn't even start my podcast until 2022. So it's not like I was into movies as much as I am now. It's just bad timing because no one was in theaters. And on top of that, it got horrible reviews, not just by critics, but by fans as well. So, I mean, this movie, I'm very, very surprised it got a sequel. It did numbers. I had a list here. Like, it had a budget of $55 million. It gained globally. Domestically, I don't think they made enough money to gain back their.
Okay.
But globally, it's like $84.4 million. So they barely made it a profit off of this movie.
Yeah.
Enough to justify a sequel. And then I know we're going to get into the details about this movie, but I had to look up the director for this. Like, who the hell is this director? Like, and what else has he done? Simon McQuaid. Simon McQuaid is like, I've never heard of that name before. No. I looked up his IMDb. Before this, he's done nothing but commercials, like for PlayStation, some other video game commercials. Like he was great with that. But I was like, this is a big budget movie, and they're giving you a chance. And take this movie and like cut it into like scene by scene. Like each scene is pretty good, like for a commercial size scene.
Sure,
but put it all together, like it was kind of a mess in some places. And like you said, the acting wasn't that great, but when it comes down to acting, it comes down to like the script writing and editing, and also like a lot of these are first time actors as well.
Yeah, I didn't look up the director, but I did spend some time looking at some of the people in this movie because I didn't know a single person. Either time I watched this movie, I did not recognize a single person. Adding Carl Urban as Johnny Cage for MK2 is a huge, like, I'm not that big of a Carl Urban fan, but like adding him into this adds such big star power. A lot of people in this movie are either models or they're gonna go on to be in other things. So hopefully once we come around to the sequel, things are a little bit better. The guy who plays Jax, for example, Makad Brooks, at the time, I didn't really know who he was. He does go on to play James Olsen in the CBS CW Supergirl series. The guy who plays Kano, Josh Lawson, who for me is the whole reason to show up for this movie. I loved Kano in this movie. He was hilarious. One of the better, I thought, performers. He does a lot of TV. He was in Superstore, St. Denis Hospital. So you do get a director with no big film experience, directing experience, but no big film experience. And a lot of actors and actresses who either have modeling or small screen experience going into what was supposed to be this big franchise launch for Mortal Kombat. So it does kind of make sense why outside of the creative choices that were made that just are completely different from how Mortal Kombat works. It does make sense why, I don't want to say quality wise it was bad, because there's other aspects of this movie that I thought quality was pretty good. The CGI 5 years later, still pretty good. But like the directing and the acting, like, yeah, it kind of makes sense that we're not the most polished film for 2021. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would agree with that.